What is fertilizer? A fertilizer is any material of natural or synthetic origin that is applied to soils or to plant tissues to supply one or more plant nutrients essential to the growth of plants. 8,000 years ago, farmers in Egypt, Rome, and Germany used minerals, wood, ash, and manure on fields. In the 1730s, Charles Townshend studies the four-crop rotation with wheat, clover, oats, and turnips. He divided 4 fields into those 4 types of produce. Crops being in the same place decreases nutrients, so he did this to replace nutrients back in the soil. Later on, Victor Court does study of gypsum's effect on sulfuric acid. In 1768, Johann Mayer produced a book and made his experiments with the use of gypsum public. James Fisson, Edward Packard, and Thomas Hadfield founded commercial fertilizer companies in the early 19th century. They used bone meal to create fertilizers. The Birkeland-Eyde process was one of the competing industrial processes in the beginning of nitrogen-based fertilizer production. This took place in a Norwegian factory. Karl Bosch and Fritz Haber developed the Haber process in the early 20th century. The Haber process is an artificial nitrogen fixation process. It is the main industrial procedure for the production of ammonia today. It is very energy efficient, and Karl and Fritz are Nobel Prize winners for their invention. William Ostwald develops the process for making nitric acid in 1902. In 1927, Erling Johnson developed the ODA process, which is an industrial method to produce nitrophosphate. Slow-release fertilizer first appears in 1936, and it was finally commercialized in 1955. In 1960, the National Fertilizer Development Center started developing sulfur-coated urea. The types of fertilizers that we have today are single nutrient, which is potassium, which is K, compound fertilizer, binary, which is 2 components, nitrogen and phosphorus, NPK, which is the most common, and slow release.